Leading South African queer and HIV activist Steve Letsike has been appointed chair of the Commonwealth Equality Network. The network was established back in 2013 and comprises members from organizations that are looking at challenging inequality based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The Commonwealth Network is also ensuring that the human rights of the queer community is protected. Now, this is in line with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Steve Letsike joins us now via our video link to speak more about the appointment and perhaps plans for the time ahead. And Steve, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks very much indeed for always making time to chat to us. Firstly, congratulations are in order. Yeah, lovely stuff. We'll speak about that in just a moment. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Let's begin by you just describing to us what the Commonwealth Equality Network is about and who you represent.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, these are members of, organizations that are coming from different parts of the world, in the Americas, in Africa, as well as Europe, Asia, and Pacific Islands. And these organizations operate within the Commonwealth member states. And as you know, TSEN, which is an acronym of the Commonwealth Equality Network, is the only registered organization under the Commonwealth to engage in CHOGM, which is the heads of government space and interaction with the Commonwealth stakeholders. So we operate as a unit. We operate to challenge the injustice of the past, indeed.
Yeah. According to details on your website, about 65% or so of your member states have now legalized same-sex intimacy. That means 35% haven't. Yes, a lot has been done, but there's still a lot of work ahead.
No, indeed. There's quite a lot of work ahead. About 38 countries within the Commonwealth states still criminalize homosexual act. And as you know, actually, that Commonwealth members, are 54, and we all carry the legacy of colonialism because of the imperialists that have happened in our past, and we have been oppressed. And even our own country, South Africa, we have the history of prejudice, the discrimination on the basis of the color of our skin, on the basis of sex, and even on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. So there's quite a lot of work to work around decriminalization. But I think there's progress that we celebrate. Countries like ours that carries a very much constitution that is celebrated, but also the recent announcement and judgment by the Botswana High Court, which then means that Botswana has decriminalized. But we've seen in other parts of the world, Belize, as well as Trinidad and Tobago, which is in the Caribbean sides, and also other parts of the world where we've seen progress. But what we know as a climate that we need to change, the climate around countries moving not only just legally, but moving with the attitude, the behavior, the politics that ensures that the rights of LGBTI people are protected everywhere. Yeah. And that's the work that we've committed to do.
Right. You speak about that Botswana judgment. What I found extraordinary was it was the government that was actually trying to see that ruling that allowed same-sex intimacy overturned. What's your relationship like with governments in member states that are involved with this organization, especially governments from our continent here in Africa?
No, absolutely. I mean, Africa hosts the majority of, the Commonwealth states. We have 18 countries that are members of the Commonwealth, and 11 of those 18 still criminalize homosexual act. Now, what we know, we have governments like ours, as South Africa, who we regard quite important, who needs to be standing up boldly in the region for solidarity. We need to see solidarity anywhere else across the world as strong, but also we want to see it here predominantly. Other countries that are quite resistant, countries like Uganda, Ghana, that have shown actually roots of homophobia and transphobia that is state-funded. We've seen in the last couple of months the situation in Ghana, the arrest of human rights advocates. So the relationships in terms of diplomacy and negotiation really needs to take shape in respecting the universal, Declaration of Human Rights, but what we have called in recognizing that LGBTI people are citizens of those countries. So government needs to shift their own attitude. And indeed, Botswana was the government that appealed. But what we know, the arms of states don't rely only on government. The arms of states also relies on the judiciary system. And I think quite a lot of LGBTI communities has relied on the third arm of state, which is the judiciary, in safeguarding the rights of people. And that means government also cannot suppress the rule of law in this case.
Yeah, and the judiciary in Botswana widely respected within the region, and I remember there are hopes that, this particular judgment will create some kind of ripple effect. That, I guess, is a lovely way to segue into what your ambitions are as the new chair of the Commonwealth Equality Network. I mean, is there anything in particular, benefit-wise, that comes with the chairperson being from South Africa?
Well, I think the confidence that is bestowed in us, not only just myself, because I don't stand alone. I stand with a management committee that has been elected, coming from different regions. There's 8 members of the management committee, and I think the confidence that is bestowed in us is really about the ability to take the Equality Network into the next level. Our engagement with heads of states and the benefits that comes with it, it's really about the people we represent and the constituency we represent. It may come with a bit of, the privileges, that also ensures that, you continue to occupy space, you continue to really enter or have entry to certain spaces of influence. But at the same time, for me, the biggest honor of this task and privilege of it is really about the people we represent. And I think the obligations that we have is really to ensure that states and member states, as part of the consensus basis that is the principle of democracy, peace, and development of the Commonwealth. So we need to ensure we push that, we change that, but we also repair the very same narratives that we come from. It must never be the right thing to continue to oppress others.
Absolutely. Steve Letsike is the new chairperson of the Commonwealth Equality Network. Steve, once again, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.